Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, The Real Estate Real. I'm your host, Tyler, and today what we're going to do is we're going to narrow down that next home purchase for you. Of course, you know that buying a home is extremely important to people. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of patience, but of course, we want to look into those things that are going to keep you happy while you're purchasing that next home. And first and foremost, I just want to say that people on average stay in their home for over 7 years, so you definitely want to have some good environment and good things around you when you're looking for that next home, because you don't want to have a home where you get in and then you start to realize that this is probably not the area for you, it's probably not the community for you, and it's probably not the place for you. So what we're going to do today is narrow down that home purchase so that we can find you a good place and get the juices flowing so you can find out where you pretty much want to live, and we're going to stay and we're going to be happy. Not only be happy, but thrive and flourish in your environment. So first and foremost, the first thing that I want to talk about is your hobbies. If you haven't already thought about this when you're going to look for a home, hobbies are actually very important when you're looking for a home. If you like to walk around the area, you want a nice safe environment, of course. If you like to ride bikes, then you're probably going to want a place where it has nice bike trails, other places where you could go where you could find maybe other bicyclists as well, and pretty much places that are going to have nice scenery. So an example of this might be if you're living here in Sacramento, California, a good thing to keep in mind is that if you live in Midtown, there's a lot of places to go around the surrounding areas where you could bike and do different things of that nature. But also, if you live in Midtown, they also have different events. So if you like going to events where you could go to, let's say, the Sacramento Farmers Market on Saturday, they have during Midtown on K Street. It's a great event to go to if you just like to get out, sightsee. Maybe people watch a little bit and look at the new and small up and coming businesses in the area, as well as if you live in Midtown or any other place like that. There's a lot of places where you can go and drink at night. So if you like to, maybe go grab a maybe go grab a drink at night and walk home, or get a quick ride home from the bar. You're gonna be in quick distance of the bar and things of that nature. So just pretty much find a place where you like to live that match your hobbies, because it's going to bring a lot of value to your life in general later on, especially if you have that time to go out and enjoy doing the things that you do around your surrounding areas. It's a really great idea to keep in mind, and I think it is one of the most underrated things when people are actually looking for a new home, especially with the prices and the competitiveness in the market right now, that's causing people to maybe take a back seat on some of these things when they're looking for their next home purchase. So that's the first thing that I want to say to you, is hobbies is a great thing to keep in mind. Look for what's going to create value in your life, and what areas around will create value to your life and the environment that you're living in. The second thing that I want to talk to you about is the community. Who lives in the community around you? Not only should your neighbors obviously be good people because you want to get along with them, you want to communicate with them well, but they also want to bring value to your life in a sense. Obviously, you're not going to get along with maybe all your neighbors, but it's great to keep in mind if your neighbors have the same interests as you. It's often easier to have a neighbor maybe watch your house some days if you have to go out of town or things of that nature. Also, I just want to give an example of that. Right now, I live in a community that has a golf course near it. So if you like to golf and do things of that nature, there's probably going to be a lot of people around you, especially if you're moving to a new area, that probably like to golf, and then you could, set up relationships later on that will eventually set up opportunities down the road to create more connections with people, which is always great. The next connection with someone could be an opportunity that you didn't know you had. So keeping that community in mind is a great idea. Also, like I said before, you want a community that's going to be safe for you. If you can get into an area that is obviously going to be safe and affordable for you, that is a great thing to have. When you're looking at a community, you don't just want to look at, what income somebody has or what income somebody is making. You want to look at a lot of different things in the area, especially things like maybe age or something of that nature. If you get around some neighbors who are around the same age demographic as you, it might be a lot easier because you can connect with those people easier. Like I said, maybe when you're throwing parties, you can invite those people over, but you never know. Community is number 2 on my list. It's a great thing to keep in mind. You want to be in a good community around you, and you want those people to add value to your life, just like you want your home to be able to add value to your life when you purchase it. So that is one thing I want to say. And never hesitate to build a connection with somebody, like I said before, because you never know how much opportunity it will really add to your life. Um, and that's just a great thing to keep in mind in general. You always want to make connections. And I probably say that too because I was really introverted before, and now that I've started talking to the neighbors around me and having different conversations with the neighbors around me, I've tend to realize that the neighbors are actually really cool. I have a neighbor that's he's really into computer graphics and things like that. So he has a friend that owns a shop downtown in Midtown, like I was talking before, at Studio 9. And it's a really cool place and a really great way to make connections with people that you didn't know before, as well as put yourself in maybe a room where you might not have been before, so you get that opportunity, like I said. And the third thing on my list that I want to talk about that I did mention in community is travel. Travel is obviously a great thing to keep in mind. I think it is one of the top things that people do think about, though, when they're looking for the location of their next home. But you don't only want to think about how long you're going to travel to your work or to the location where you'll to work or a location where you'll have to go every day. You also want to keep in mind if you're going to have to travel to around any areas, maybe you'll have to see your mother-in-law or something like that, or any distant relatives. You're not going to want to travel a super far distance to go see these individuals, because obviously with gas prices right now, you probably don't want to waste more money than you have to.
Fucking gas is through the roof. Gas is so expensive right now. Soon they gonna start selling gas in bars.
So if you get in a good area where travel can be compensated, and you can save a couple dollars on that, as well as you save time on that, and in general, that's gonna make a better well-being for your life, especially if you could save time and put that time towards other allocated things like maybe your work or your schedule, or maybe just relaxing throughout the day, because I know enough of you don't probably get the time to relax throughout the day and just take a step back, so seeing what areas you have to travel to and expecting to save that time throughout the day can really be effective towards the better well-being of your life. So that's why I obviously put travel on my list of things that you should be thinking about to narrow down your home purchase. And travel is number 3 on my list. So the fourth thing that I want to talk about is if you have children or you plan on having children, you definitely want to look at the school districts around your area. School districts come in many different sizes and shapes, I would say, but just make sure that you're narrowing down that school district where you know that your kid's going to be taken care of, and it's a good environment for your kids as well. Just like you want to be in a good environment for yourself and the community, with the community around you and things of that nature, you definitely want to put your kid in a good environment so that he has the best opportunity to grow and flourish. Don't just look at education standpoint when you're looking at education. I'm not really trying to tell you how to raise your kid or anything of that nature, but there's some great things to keep in mind when you're looking for schools. For instance, when I went to Sheldon High School, it was a great liberal arts school. It taught me a lot of things about art and different design, even acting, things of that nature. And a lot of kids, they end up doing things in high school that they might do or they might not do as a career. But even if you dabble a lot in high school as a teenager, I can say that it can help you grow and flourish to something that you might not have ever thought that you would get to as an adult, or you would be as an adult. Like now, when I was growing up, I played a lot of sports, which sports were a big deal in my life, and they're a big deal pretty much around Sacramento in itself and around Folsom, the Rockland area. Basketball, football, soccer, all these things are great, and they teach you how to have a connection with other people growing up, teach you how to play team sports and how to be a good team player with other people around you. And like I said before, just really have that connection. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're looking at schools is the athletic standpoint from it. But I kind of got in and off topic, which I was going to say that I played a lot of sports growing up, but I never really expected to be a realtor. But you know, maybe this is some of the things that shaped me through my environment, not only my mom and parents looking at the different houses that were selling around the areas at that point, but also pretty much, you know, the things that were going on around in my environment at that point with the 2008 housing crisis when I was a freshman in high school and things of that nature. That doesn't really have to deal with the school that I was going to at the time, but being in front of the camera has to do with me having the ability to go up on stage when I was doing things at Sheldon High School, like liberal arts, where I had to perform in front of people. That's why I don't really think I have you know, I think that I've progressed past that point as a certain standpoint as an adult too. So the fifth thing that I want to talk about is the pros and cons list. After I've discussed all these things, I definitely want you to make a pros and cons list on the houses that you're seeing. And if there's anything else that you keep in mind while you're looking for a home, then definitely make a pros and cons list of the house. That'll definitely help you narrow down your next home purchase, because obviously if there's more pros and cons in the area, it's going to make it for a better environment for you, as well as if there's a lot of cons in that area, you're definitely not going to want to move to that area. And especially if you have a couple of homes that you're looking at, weigh out the pros and cons of that home, so that you can narrow down what's going to be the best decision and best fit and for the longevity of your future, your career, maybe your child's career, or anybody else in your family, of course. So that's pretty much all I had for you today. Those are the couple of things that I want you to look at when you're thinking about narrowing down your next home purchase. But I hope that obviously added value to what you're looking for right now and gave you a good insight on everything that you need to think about, so that you could have a good environment around you when you purchase your next home, as well as you can feel comfortable in that next home, and like this is a place where you're obviously going to want to grow, because that's what you probably should be looking for when you're looking in your next home purchase. So I really appreciate you for tuning in today, and thanks for watching my videos again, of course. If you have any questions, of course, comment your questions below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But thanks for watching, and thanks for tuning in today. Until next time.